Okay, now we're recording. So just to recap, future people, future versions of the people in this room, we just added the ellipse, okay? All right, so we know that all of this works, right? So this is everything that I have for the red circle. Everything else so far is for the pink rectangle, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and just leave myself some comments up here too, so that I know these variables are for my pink rectangle. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I have this really great template of how this behavior is working, right? So I can just kind of emulate it, but for my y position, all right? So I'm just going to clean up my code further and just make it make a little more sense. So I'm going to write another variable, and I'm going to name this one y, and the value I'm going to give it is going to be the y position for my ellipse, because that's, I want to drive the vertical, right? So I'm going to say it's going to be equal to 250. And then what do? Yes, exactly. So I'll replace the 250 with my y. All right, and then when I run it, should do the same thing. All right, and while I'm here, I'll just mark this up, and I'll say this is going to be for the red circle. Okay? All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to update my y variable, okay? So I'm going to put the update right where I have the other update, but I'll leave myself some comments here. So here's my update for x. I'll put it right underneath here. So I'll say update for red circle. And I'm going to do it the same way that I did it before. So I'm going to say y equals y plus 5. Just to make sure that we can just get it to move a little bit before we try everything else, all right? So this should just run away. Okay? So then what I'll do, because I have a 5 here, and again, why do I want to replace this 5 with a variable rather than just a number? Yeah, because I want to update that. I want that 5 to behave in different ways. I want it to behave in a positive way and a negative way. So what I'll do is I'll go up here, and I'll do another variable, and maybe I'll call this moves y. And I will have it equal to 5. And so then I'll replace my update on the y with moves y. All right, and then same behavior should be happening. Okay, so here's my variables for red. Here's my update for red. Okay, anybody not getting what I'm getting at this point? So you should just have your circle just kind of run away, be pushed to the bottom of the screen. They done a nice job. Yeah, it should just run away. Okay, so then what's the last thing that we do? Yeah, do our conditionals. So let's put our conditionals down here. We'll go ahead and just put it underneath. I'm just going to put everything, the pink rectangle first, and I'll put the red after all that. So I'm going to leave myself some comments here so that I know that this is going to be my conditional. I'm just going to copy this and change it. Okay, so conditional for red circle. All right. And I would highly suggest, my mouse just broke. I would highly suggest just copying and pasting this, and then we'll just change it so that you have the format, you're ready to go. So I'm just going to copy and paste my conditional for the pink, and I'm going to put it here, and I will change my update. So my my update variable for the other shape is going to be moves y. So I'll change that. But in terms of the math, I want it to be the exact same thing. And then I also want to change my condition. So I'll do the bottom, the farther half first. So I'll say if y is greater than 500 would be the bounds of the screen, right? Because my screen's 500 by 500. But because my shape is positioned from the center, what would that bound be? My shape is 100 pixels tall, and so from the center, it's positioned from the center. So what would I need to subtract from here? Yeah, 50. So I'll say 450. And if it's not right, y'all, like if the math part confuses you, just plug some values in there and like do it visually, all right? And then y is greater than -1. Obviously, the top of my screen on the y is going to be 0. So anything greater than 1, which would technically be 0, right? It'll bounce, okay? So let's just check that this works. Bounce. All right, so as you can see, I got this one wrong, right? Because again, I was thinking like it's a rectangle. It positions from the center, right? So I need to do the same thing. See how it's going all the way up to its center point? So what does my bounds need to be for the top? What's that? 50. Yeah, so if it's greater than 50, because you're totally right. It's almost like the top of the circle is like plus 50. Boom. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to send this code so that you can just, because it's hard to see the whole thing. I think it's helpful if you could see the whole thing. I'm going to send it to you over Slack so that if you're having any issues, you can compare. So I'm going to put it in class resources. And this is going to be, let's call it double bounce. Auto detect type, I want Java. Boom. Okay, so now you can just open this up and you can view it on your screen, or you can download it and open it right in processing. Okay, so I'll give you all a little time to clean that up. Does that help clarify or answer any questions that you ran into for homework? Yeah. Is anything still unclear at all? Any of the math or any of the functions or any parts of the code at all?
So even like for both of them, you wanted to move both of them the same amount of numbers. It's important to label them separate.
Yeah, I would do that. Like, so for instance, we could actually get away with
like the moves.
Yeah, so you totally you could get away with, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you could just get away with updating your variable. You could just use this, and it would be okay. But if you want these to behave any other way, then you would want to just piece them out separately. Because another thing will happen where you could actually use, how do I explain this? You could use this bounds. So check it out. If I put this, mouse. If I put this in here, let me get rid of this. And I saw some people do this for homework, and it's kind of clever, but it's not actually the cleanest solution. I could do this. So why does the same thing happen when I do that? Did that just blow anybody's mind with that? Yeah, so what's happening is when the x hits this point, then it's going to update the z and the y. So because they're both moving at the same time, I can do that. But as soon as I change this, then the timing's off. Y'all follow me? So if you want your two different shapes to have different types of behavior, if you want them to both move at the same time, and so what the red circle's doing is it's just using the conditional statements for the pink. But because it's moving at the same pace before, then it's totally fine. But when I do it this way, the pace isn't moving. So that red circle is going to continue to move until the pink circle hits one of the edges. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's why it's a cleaner way to code it this way. So that now your two different shapes can have two different behaviors but still be adhering to the bounds that we set on it. Does that clarify? Is anybody totally lost at all with that? Yeah.
I'm having issues.
Okay. So, y'all feel like it's a good time for a break? Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and take a break. Let's be back here at, I'm going to give you till 4:05. Okay? 4:05, please be back here. If you still need some help, I'll stick around. Okay, so please be back ready for the next super fun coding challenge of your dreams at 4:05, please. All right, what do we got? Cool. Yeah. So I think you got everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and for homework, I was reusing this.
Uh-huh.
This guy got it done.
Yeah, I find it easier to just have like each object have its own set of variables so that you have total control. Otherwise, you run into a situation where we have where one object's behavior is contingent on the other object's behavior. What's going on? Okay, cool. So let's take a look. So what we want to do first is let's go all the way to the top, and if you hover in one bracket, do you want to see this bigger? So we'll go to preferences and just change this. Let's kind of go. Does that make it a little easier for you? And then you can just. Okay. So let's go here. Okay, so when you hover in the one bracket, it'll show you where its friend is. Okay, so this one's great. Let's find this one's friend. So let's look at like what this thing is friend for this one. See how it has a friend? Because this one is going to be this one. See how you can find them? And then so we'll just add right.
No, actually,
And now see how this one identifying each other?
No, because I finished this one, I didn't finish.
That's how you just find it. I had a whole job one time where my entire job was just to find missing brackets. Okay, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So should we try?
You're talking about it. Oh, about the trumpet.
Okay, it's because you don't have to worry about this. The
Everybody
language that you use for your computer-based stuff is Java. The language that you have to use for anything on the web is JavaScript. So what this does is it takes your Java and it converts it to a readable language on the web. You don't have to worry about that. The service is supposed to do that for you. So let's try this one more time. So if these are giving you a hard time, I'm sorry. We'll just save this. Let's just make a new sketch. So see how this is function setup and function draw? Those are just different keywords that you need to run functions on the different, like on the web. Like, you don't need to know this. So if we do this and say, you can submit. It'll usually give you like little things down here. So go ahead and tell it like, yeah, go ahead and change it to processing data.
I never actually or I don't remember.
Oh, it might be Andy.
Oh, Stack is cow? That was just a fun.
It's Bob.
What? I mean,
Oh,
the just like processing.
You're not the only one that's based on. This is the easiest way to just like store and share code, but because it's not a web code language.
it's not on the application.
No, and that's correct. Yeah. Because if nothing else, this is just an easy way for me to find code. So if you run an application for your homework, just make it a comment saying like, like this works in processing. I don't know what's going on. That's what I don't understand what that. It has something to do with like
So it might just be, so long story short, it's nothing that you do. It's just because we're trying to put, it's just the surface. Sometimes it's wonky, like for other people, like I remember his when I looked at his homework, he said when I looked at his homework I couldn't see it. But then when I opened it here, I could see it. So just think of this as more of as an easy way for us to share code. And maybe sometimes it's visual work. I just haven't found an easier way for us to just store stuff online and share it. Okay? So if you want to just, you can just delete this one, even if you want to just go into the other one and just leave a comment that says like, KT, this work is in process, and I can go in there and like fix it. Okay? Yes.
So I still haven't made my decision.
Okay.
I think I'm kind of caught up as like, obviously I sent to you guys, so I'll try to do that.
Mhm.
ASAP.
Totally. And you have a ton of,
Just
yeah,
kinda-
just the bounds, yeah. And the only difference with this is that like when you create a custom function out of all your shapes, you'll see how to do it in the, you can just look up your stream examples and Slack or your classmate examples. The only difference is your character, you're gonna build it, but how you build it is gonna be pertinent to the size of the screen.
Oh, that?
Right? So
Yeah, all of them.
it's not gonna be, so remember how I was talking about how like the circle is positioned from the center point? Yours is gonna be positioned, so let me just like this, sorry. Cause you're just gonna, it's just gonna be, Valerie, do you mind if I go on here? Okay. Oh yeah, that one there's two. There's this one that I'm like obsessed with.
Actually, it's actually.
So let's say, you know, your character, you drew over here, right? Okay. So when you store it as a custom function, and then you call it, you do stuff with it, it's still gonna position you over here. So even if you made a bigger
Yeah.
size screen,
I know.
this is still gonna be this size, even though your stuff is
I
over
was
here.
trying to use.
So does that make sense? So if you want this thing to bounce off of here, you actually have to target this section. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So like for your conditional statements, it's a good bet to just start with like greater than the size of the screen and less than the start of the screen. Does that make sense? Like we've been doing. But then you'll have to adjust it because when you say if this is greater than 600, then let's say this is 600. Okay. So if the condition is, and let's say your x is, because it's, you know, it's really hard to determine these numbers. It's just like based on numbers. You're just gonna have to like keep plugging in numbers to get to it. So for instance, if you say, let's say this is your x. If the x is greater than 600, it's gonna bounce like right there. So you just have to like sort of guess like, okay, this looks like it's about 300 pixels from here. So maybe then you subtract 300 pixels from here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like kind of like what we did.
Yeah, totally. So you just have to figure out like, and these are different, right? One's from the corner, one's from the center.
Yeah.
So you'll just have to kind of just keep tweaking your digits until it looks like it's bouncing off that edge.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and that's the only way. And the best thing to do is just start with a 0, so less than 1 and greater than whatever the size of your screen is. Does that make sense? So up here, so here's what I would do. The first thing I would do, because we're moving this way like we read, right? I'm gonna put the bigger bounds in here. It doesn't matter. You could switch if it makes sense for you to put the start here and the end here, that's fine, okay? But for instance, my screen is 500 by 500 because you want to see what's gonna happen, right? Like you don't have to do the math perfect. So you could just say, the screen, anything bigger than 500, you want it to go the other way. And then here, anything less than 1, because this is 1, right? Then you want it to go the other way. So I'm just suggesting that your 2 or statements just do greater than the size of the screen and less than 1 because the start of your screen is 0.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. I am going to help you in just 1 second. I gotta just print on our worksheet, and then we'll be happy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see this. So, alright, so you have if y is greater than 100, or y is, okay, so you're giving it a balance of like, you see what I'm saying? So like, okay. Do you see this?
So why you
0, nothing. Okay? So you're saying if y is, oh wait, I'm being valid. 0 and 100. So there's y, right? Okay? So if y is greater than 100, so anything outside this way, or y is less than 100, so then anything this way. So you're kind of only giving it like, you're giving it like no space to exist. Do you see what I'm saying? So, let's first try, well, let's first try just getting rid of this.
oh, you can take that.
See if we can just get your other shape to show up. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So it should be there. So did you check it out? So okay, this makes actually perfect sense. Ready? Okay. So it's only showing up like when the x is there and when the x is there, because you have it inside of this conditional state. Does that make sense? So no, the only thing that you want inside, see this conditional statement? Opens there, closes there. The only thing you want in there is your update. That's the only thing you want to change. So no, you gotta get all this stuff out of here. See, this is draw. Okay? So everything should be outside of here.
Oh, be like down.
So the only thing we want to, the only thing that we want to change or happen when these conditions are met is that we just want to reverse the color, right? That's the only thing, okay? When you put a shape in here, then you're saying only draw the shape when the x is at this position and the x is at this position. Does that make sense? So that's like a little package, and then we put all this stuff above it. It can go below it, but we'll just put everything we want to just happen, and then we'll use the program over here, and then our conditional statements down here. So here,
Never
okay, so see, you're only giving it a tiny space to exist. So that's why that is, it's bouncing off of a space that's, this square is this big and the space is this big. So it's going like that, okay? So if we expand this, we know for sure that the smallest one is going to be 1, right? Less than 1. And most likely it's going to be somewhere around the size of the screen, which isn't balanced. And then you can tweak it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You almost had it.
Literally all you need to do is move back on. Did you want our, I can edit this. You wanted it saved to open processing and upload it to
Yeah.
what's the name of it?
Slack. Yeah. So your icon homework. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure that you uploaded that. Okay, y'all. So go ahead and make sure that you save this. You don't have to save this on open processing, but you're definitely going to need this for. You're definitely going to need this in the future for other assignments. Let me help you out. Anybody else not have this happening? Still not happening? It just goes away. Okay. Actually, let me help. Okay, just watch your caps. This shouldn't break anything, but just don't put caps in. So it's just not coming back. The deep one is X. that's why I just suggest don't put cats at the beginning. That's why that camel case is like convention. So it's always lowercase, and then if there's another word, make it an uppercase. Okay? Okay, so it's just not really that. Yeah. So why is it is like that though.
What do you mean?
So you like,
Here we go. So you this needs to be a little package that only contains this. So it's kind of like this conditional statement is inside of this one. So it's saying if this happens, this happens, this happens, and this happens. So we need to close this guy out. And then this guy also doesn't even bracket. Okay, so think of these if statements as like little packages, and the and the brackets is like how you say I'm starting it and now I'm done. And so the best way to do this is just to keep it on tidy, move slow, and it should look something like this. So this one should be here so you know it starts. Here's this, the code indented, and the closing one in line with it. So that it's like a nice tiny little pattern. Okay? Now, there we go. Okay, so just make sure that you save a copy with this. Anybody else encountering any other issues? Okay, so your worksheet is printing. So now we're gonna just make something sans worksheet really easy. It's probably gonna take us like 10 minutes. It's gonna be code along. We're gonna make a really cute 3D thing. It's gonna change. It's gonna look really fun. And I'm gonna just introduce some of the new concepts that we're gonna be using in this little coding exercise, okay? So go ahead and just make sure that you save this somewhere. You don't have to upload it to Open Processing, but you're gonna definitely need this example at some point. So just save it for your records or whatever. Yeah, if you wanna upload it, please do. Oh,